Hello friends, it's David here from Beyond the Kingdoms, and today I've got my final video focusing on Mickey's Very Merry at the Magic Kingdom. My top 10 tips that you need to know before attending this special ticketed event for the holiday season. So let's jump right in. As some of you may know, this event is getting busier and busier each and every year. And despite there being more party nights than ever now, tickets still seem to sell out. So tip number 1 is to not wait until the day you plan to attend the party to get your ticket. Make sure you get it ahead of time. I'm not saying that everyone has to go running to give Disney more money and buy tickets to this event, because I know that this can get really expensive for a family. And there are plenty of other holiday events at Disney World that don't require an extra ticket. I'm simply suggesting that if you've been on the fence and feel undecided, it's time to make a decision if you're going to take the plunge and pick a date. For 2018, Mickey's Very Merry is offered on 22 select nights. By comparison, the Halloween party was offered on 34 select nights this year. So Very Merry having 12 fewer dates already means it's more likely to sell out more often. In 2017, the party sold out on a total of 9 nights, whereas Halloween last year only sold out on 2 nights. So that goes to show you that crowds are spread out more during the Halloween season. If you're wondering when are the slower nights to go to Very Merry, there always seems to be a small dip in crowds the week prior to Thanksgiving, not the week of, and after the first 2 parties have passed. And then again, there's a little dip the first full week of December, so plan accordingly. Tip number 2 is for my annual pass holders. You probably already know that you can enter the Magic Kingdom as early as 4 p.m. if you're entering with just a party ticket. But if you have an annual pass and arrive around 3 p.m., you'll already see herds of people waiting at the gate to enter the party. So my tip for annual pass holders is to arrive at any time well before 4 p.m. and get your wristband for the party somewhere inside the park. That way you can avoid that herd at the entrance. The same can go for anyone visiting the Magic Kingdom during the day as well. There are 3 locations to pick up wristbands, and that's Tortuga Tavern in Adventureland, PhilharMagic in Fantasyland, and in between Buzz Lightyear and the Laugh Floor in Tomorrowland. It will give you a good running head start for the night. Tip number 3 is for everyone else entering the party after 4 o'clock through the main entrance. Definitely use that Main Street bypass to maneuver around the crowds. Depending on the exact time you enter the park, you may find some congestion on Main Street, either due to the Move It, Shake It dance party or the first castle lighting ceremony at 6:15. Entering the bypass instead of the main drag is way easier. And along the way, you can get some good family photos with photographers and your first cookie. Okay, tip number 4 is for any of you who have Jack and Sally high on your list of priorities. If you watched my review, you know that these guys moved this year, and they usually start meeting guests as early as 4:30. Now, that's always subject to change, but that's what I personally experienced on the first 2 nights. If you're hoping to meet them, I highly suggest you do this first thing, because wait times can reach up to 2 hours. If you're paying over $100 to go to an event, every minute counts and you don't want to waste time. I think your best bet is to arrive at the front gate around 3 p.m. so that you can be at the head of the pack. Then, when you enter right at 4 o'clock, get your wristband at the entrance and make a move to Town Square Theater immediately. If you're one of the first in line, you can be out of there by 5 p.m. and the rest of the night is yours. In my book, this is the only way to do it. If not, I personally wouldn't waste valuable party time waiting in this line, despite how rare and popular it is to see them. Tip number 5. If you want to go for a spin on the Jingle Cruise, I would actually hold off and do this on a non-party night. This is the only holiday overlay we get currently here at Magic Kingdom. The regular version of the Jungle Cruise can easily hit an hour wait on a moderate day. But during the holidays, it seems to get even more popular. In that 4 to 6 p.m. time when both party guests and date guests are in the park, I've seen the line hit 90 minutes. Now, you can choose to do this during the party because that wait can drop below 20 minutes. But since this is offered all day long, I again think it's better to save valuable party time on something else. This is a great attraction to do on a second day at Magic Kingdom, but definitely with a fast pass. Tip number 6 is for my little ones. I mean really little ones. There's a lot of special entertainment at this event, but the toddlers should definitely make a stop at the Jingle Jam Dance Party in Storybook Circus. This is a great way for kids to blow off steam and hit the dance floor with Doc McStuffins and Vampirina. I actually think groups with toddlers should consider starting their party in this back corner of the park. It's not too crowded, there's a great lineup of characters, and there's a cookie station nearby that doesn't get too busy like the rest. Now, sticking to this area of the park, let's move to tip number 7. If you're a shopaholic and want to check out exclusive party-only merchandise, Big Top Souvenirs is the place to go. I find that the Emporium on Main Street gets way too busy, especially at the end of the night. It can feel like hell on earth in there. And the Frontierland Trading Post is a little bit tight. On the night I attended the party, it was sold out, and I was in the Big Top right around 7 p.m. and it was virtually empty. Cast members even began selling party-only merchandise earlier in the night around 6 p.m., as long as you showed them your party wristband. This is certainly the best place to shop for me, because there's plenty of space to browse and the crowds seem to overlook this corner. Tip number 8, get all of your cookies in one place. On the night I attended the party, I saw some massive lines at the cookie stations right at the start of the night. And since each station offers something different, guests hit up as many of these stations as they can. So, if you're pressed for time, go to Pinocchio's Village House in Fantasyland. This station gives out all 4 cookies in one. They've got the classic Snickerdoodle, ginger molasses, peppermint crunch, and chocolate chip. This is also where you can pick up the allergy-friendly options as well. In terms of beverages, they have either Fanta or hot cocoa. On top of that, there is plenty of seating in here too, so it's a great place for a break to enjoy a sweet snack. If you don't make it to Pinocchio's, I can at least tell you this. Avoid the temptation of cookie stations right at the start of the party. They get rammed. I found that during the first parade, crowds significantly dropped at cookie stations, and it remained level for the rest of the night. I know it may be hard to resist the urge right away, but I simply don't believe in fighting the crowds, especially at the start of your night. Speaking of crowds, I want to next move on to attraction wait times. I took extra note on ride wait times during the party, and to my surprise, only Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Peter Pan's Flight reached 30 minutes. Everything else was under 20. So tip number 9 is to definitely ride some attractions, especially in that first hour of the party when everyone else is getting cookies or meeting characters. Or do it during the first parade. I personally lined up for the Seven Dwarfs early, and they came out at 6:15. So by 6:40, I was off and running and doing some of the big rides. It was a fantastic way to start. And finally, we have tip number 10, which is no big surprise if you've seen my tips before. Watch the second parade and the final showing of Mickey's Most Merriest. I know it's a late night at these events, especially for the little ones. But if you can manage, give the kids a good nap earlier in the day and try to go to those later showings. The first parade at Very Merry is quite early at 8:30 p.m., so everyone goes to that one. And it can be a challenge to get a prime spot on Main Street. On a sold-out night, I went to the second parade at 11 p.m., and I grabbed my spot only 15 minutes before showtime, and it was no problem whatsoever. And I want to add that on my night, the hub was blocked off completely, because during the day, Disney was filming some television specials. So the hub was closed off to store camera equipment throughout the night. So if I was able to grab a decent spot at the hub on a night like this, you can certainly do it on any other night. So there you have it, my friends, my top 10 tips when attending this year's Very Merry Christmas Party at the Magic Kingdom. The holidays are a magical time at Disney, but they can get crowded and expensive. So I always like to share these time-saving tips so that you and your family can ensure you have a great time together. And before I leave you today, I have one little announcement to make. Next month, I'll be hosting my first Q&A episode. So, if you have some burning questions you'd like me to answer, send me an email or a direct message on any social media platform. I will leave links for all of that down below. But that will have to do it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, if you can dream it, you can do it.